Informs, the largest association for the decision in data sciences, provides the following audio content to journalists for their use in reporting with proper attribution. What follows are 4 questions and responses from David Shmoys. He's a professor of business management and leadership studies at Cornell University. He teaches in the School of Operations Research and Information Engineering, Department of Computer Science, Center for Data Science for Enterprise and Society, and he's a member of Informs.
Question 1. What have you learned from your research on the design of legislative districts?
The common perception is that gerrymandering means odd-shaped, filigree districts that are engineered to gain partisan advantage. First, if we model the fairness of a statewide districting plan using recent historical data to have the expected share of seats gained track the expected number of votes obtained statewide, then even constraining districts to be well-shaped, so-called compact districts, it is possible for each party to gain significant partisan advantage. On the other hand, we have the optimization tools to help, for example, independent commissions achieve districts that are much fairer than current plans. But there are limits. There are some states in which the minority party is sufficiently uniformly spread out so that there's a kind of natural gerrymandering that takes place. And we show that with so-called multi-member districts, where each district is big enough so that there are 2 or 3 representatives, one can achieve an even fairer outcome.
Question 2. What is the current problem with the ways in which legislative districts are mapped out?
Each state has its own set of problems, but with the same core issue. Each state can set up its own rules and governs the process of deciding the district map for the next decade. So our elected representatives choose their voters rather than the other way around. And the extent to which data exists to help model and optimize for a particular outcome is one consequence of the revolution in computing of the past quarter century, so that this power in deciding the maps has greatly increased. We've seen the Supreme Court throw out maps for states where, even though the vote was split roughly 50-50 statewide, one party controlled an overwhelming fraction of the seats. Setting up statewide independent commissions is helping improve the situation, but still has its limitations.
Question 3. What are the challenges for designing fair and representative legislative districts?
This is what we call a multi-objective problem. There are many goals that one are trying to achieve a balance in how well we can do for each. Of course, the primary question is having a system in which statewide votes translates into an appropriate representation in government. But it is not just the question of an appropriate translation of the 2 major parties, but there are fundamental issues that dictate that voters of various minority demographics have the opportunity to be fairly represented in government. And on another axis, there is an important issue in terms of so-called competitive districts. If a particular district has a relatively close balance of votes for the 2 major parties, this incentivizes the parties to nominate centrist candidates. But in districts that one party is sure to win, that allows for more extreme candidates to be successful and can accelerate the current partisan divide that we see facing the country at the moment.
Question 4. What is the best process for designing legislative districts that are fair and representative of the people who live there?
We believe that a system that combines a few elements together would be ideal. First, if there are multi-member districts with, say, typically 3-member districts, or for example, in New York, rather than having 27 districts, would have 9 3-member districts. The voting in each of these multi-member districts should be done with a variant of ranked choice voting, like is done in Maine or New York City or San Francisco, with a mechanism such as simple transferable vote, which assures that within a district, the outcome, that is how many of, let's say, the 3 seats, reflects the proportion of party line votes for each party. By using our optimization tools, we can produce a portfolio of options that reflect differing fine-grained trade-offs that can be evaluated by an independent commission to achieve results that achieve the right balance of, so for example, majority-minority districts in addition to proportionate fairness statewide. But most importantly, this multi-member district approach limits the ability of partisan interests to achieve the kind of disproportionate gains that we have seen in a number of states in the past and in the plans being put forward in this current cycle.
Please see the audio content release posted alongside this clip for attributions, soundbite length, and transcriptions. Any other questions can be sent to Ashley Smith, Informs Public Relations Specialist at asmith@informs.org.